Hey guys, I'm back with another video on Doom Eternal. This time I'll be taking a look at the best runes, suit upgrades and sentinel crystals that will make the most out of your Doom slaying experience. I've already done a video on the best weapon mods, so make sure to check that out as well. I'll be following up with even more videos on this game, including how to take out specific enemies and some of the thoughts that I have on it. As always, if you enjoy this video, please give it a like and share it. And if you like all the videos I'm doing on Doom Eternal, then maybe consider subscribing to the channel for more. Okay, when it comes to upgrades other than your weapon mods, the Sentinel Crystals and runes provide the most significant improvements in terms of gameplay. Sentinel Crystals are used to increase the maximum amount of armor, health and ammunition that you can carry, and they are fairly rare, so once you can use the Sentinel batteries in your Sky Castle, make sure you use them to open the doors to the ones with the Sentinel Crystals first. They are located at the bottom of the room with several sealed doors that's downwards and opposite of your main control room. Here you'll find points for your suit upgrades, 2 mod robots, and 2 Sentinel Crystals. Pick the Sentinel Crystals first. They will provide you with more health, armor, or ammunition depending on how you use them, which will affect your game quite significantly. In terms of how to use them or which upgrades to get, in the beginning of the game, increasing your maximum ammunition seems to be a good choice since you only have a couple of weapons to work with, so you'll find yourself running out of ammo all the time. Later on, you should start getting health and armor as a priority. As for the specific upgrades that you can get, I recommend that you get Quick Draw Belch, Belch Armor Boost, and Loot Magnet. Both upgrades to Belch will give you more armor more often, which in terms of survivability goes a long way. Combined with the rune that reduces cooldown for your skills, you will have your Belch ready in a couple of seconds after using it. The Loot Magnet will make sure that you always get everything dropped from enemies without having to spend time moving to collect them. And it isn't just about avoiding the hassle, but rather the damage that you can take while trying to pick up armor shards or ammunition. The magnet will allow you to quickly perform a chainsaw kill or blast some armor shards off an enemy and get out of there as fast as you can without worrying about whether you picked everything up or not. The rest of the upgrades aren't as useful as these. The Napalm Belch is kind of a weird one since you'll be using your Flame Belch against fodder enemies most of the time and not against heavier units. Enemies take more damage when on fire, so you can get this upgrade later on to help you take out the beefier demons, but since you generally want to keep your distance, getting close to them to set them on fire shouldn't be one of your priorities. There are 2 upgrades for the Blood Punch, which in general I'm just not finding to be as effective as I'd like. It's definitely useful in some situations like punching the armor of a green mancubus, but I wouldn't pick these upgrades before the Flame Belch. If you already have the other upgrades that I mentioned, just get whatever bonus you want depending on if you want more ammunition and armor or more health and armor. Okay, now it's time to check out the runes. I found that by far the best ones are the Chrono Strike, which will slow down time when you right click in the air, and this is a godsend for making precise shots on enemy weak spots and to get rockets locked onto heavier enemies. It completely changes the gameplay experience if you have it equipped. However, if you find yourself in an arena that has no jump pads, and I can actually think of one that is particularly brutal, remember to switch it out for something more useful for that specific case. The second rune that you should get is Equipment Fiend. This makes it so your cooldowns go down when killing enemies under the influence of said equipment. So killing enemies that are frozen or on fire will quickly recharge your chainsaw, grenade, and flame belch. Faster recharge time means more uses, and that means more of everything. I really can't think of a reason not to have this rune equipped at all times, except for a few cases when you're essentially fighting a 1v1. For the third rune, I would go for either Seek and Destroy or Dazed and Confused. Seek and Destroy will allow you to trigger glory kills from much further away which increases your traversal options and survivability. Dazed and Confused is a different approach to this by making the stagger last longer, but it is overall a weaker alternative. Punch and Reave is also a good option, but the amount of health that you get back just isn't very much. I don't feel like it makes a huge difference in the end, while using Seek and Destroy to get that glory kill on an enemy that is very far away and you wouldn't get otherwise is more useful, I think. The rest of the runes aren't as good as either of these. Saving Throw will allow you a few seconds of grace when you get dealt a killing blow to try and do something about it, but if you're in a bad spot and you're already losing the fight, it won't really help you. Blood Fueled will make you move faster after glory kills, and it can be pretty useful in tight arenas to replace Chrono Strike with, but that's about it. You might find some use for them in some situations, or depending on your gameplay style, but they are not on the same tier as the other ones that I mentioned in my opinion. And finally, we have the suit upgrades. The best suit upgrades by far are the ones worth 3 or 4 points, so you'll need to save up to get them. You start getting quite a few upgrade points around mission 3 and onwards. Just make sure that you look for secrets, since you'll usually find 1 or 2 hidden sentinels with a suit upgrade point scattered around the map. The ones that I find most worthwhile are, first of all, the faster recharges for both grenade types. The ice grenade is extremely useful for pausing the fight and allowing you to get more damage done to an enemy, so increasing either its duration, damage, and activating the health on kills are all good options to get after the fast recharge. The ice grenade is also extremely good against teleporting or fast moving enemies, so definitely spend your points in upgrading it. I would go for unlocking the health on kills first and the other ones later on, just to get some more synergy out of it right away. For the standard grenade, getting scatter grenades works incredibly well against tight packs of enemies, and being able to fire twice before the cooldown will just straight up double your damage, which is amazing. Just remember to switch grenades often because their cooldowns are independent of each other. Okay, moving on, perhaps the most underrated upgrades are the mobility ones, but once you get them, you'll realize just how important they are. Faster ledge grabs is a cheap way to increase your speed around the battlefield, but the faster dash reloading is just insane. I find it more useful than having dash refilled on glory kills because it provides near instant reuse of your dash at any time. This allows you to zip around enemies and makes avoiding damage and enemies much easier, so think of it as a way to increase your survivability by quite a bit. Make sure that you also get the upgrade for faster weapon switching, because you'll be doing that pretty often. The exploration section can provide some decent upgrades to help you find secrets around the map. Larger auto-map reveal radius will allow you to find the secret areas much easier, so try and get that first. Make sure to check your map often to see what you've discovered, because you will usually find secret areas just by checking the map. The upgrade for knowing where the auto-map is isn't really all that useful, so save your points and get the item finder if you're trying to get every secret, or just, use a guide, watch some videos, or exercise some patience. For the top ones, getting immunity against barrel explosions is pretty useful. Blowing up barrels nearby deals a considerable amount of damage, so negating that effect completely is definitely a priority. The ones for getting less damage from toxic sludge and radioactive water I found not to be necessary at all, but do get them if you have problems with the traversal in the game. As for the rest, I guess it depends on your playstyle, but I wouldn't consider them very useful, so just get them after you have all the other ones first. I do recommend that you try and save your points for the best upgrades like the dash and the grenade ones. They make a huge difference in terms of gameplay, and it won't take very long to get the points that you need, so definitely save up until you can afford them. Okay, that will be all for now. I will leave links down below to the other videos I'm doing on Doom Eternal, so check that out. And if you have any thoughts or comments, please leave them below. I'm always interested to listen to different opinions and any feedback that you might have. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one.